For this question, if I want to make this into a handsome quadratic, then pretty much this would be our star, right? But the problem is, how do I make this into also a star? Actually, this one is easy because this 1 over x is just equals to x to the negative 1. And I could actually move the negative 1 to the front, right? So now we're good. So if I let star equals to this, so star equals to 2 or negative 5 over 2, then we plug this back in. Now think about this. For this case, do we need to reject this case? If you refer to the graph of y equals to log x, you see that the domain cannot be 0 or less than 0. So actually, this is the one that cannot be less than or equal to 0. And in fact, if you look at the range, that is the y, it can be all real numbers, right? It can be positive, it can be negative. So this is okay. And so we don't reject it. So if you still remember the definition of log, it actually means 1/2 to the second power equals to x. Same here. And so we can move on. For this part, the negative power is just 1 over, right? So we could have this, which we could break it up like that, which gives us the answer. So what about this? How do I make these two like terms so that I could combine later on to solve? Well, the key is to, again, identify basic unit. Because if you compare, you see that 9 is actually the square of 3. So it's hinting that it could be some quadratic in the making. So I convert this to 3 square. And so from later on, everything will be based on base 3. Now I could rearrange the power using some of the index law. For example, 3 to the a and then to the b equals to 3 to the ab. And this one, I'm just splitting the index into like this. Alright? So why I'm doing this? Because I've identified the basic unit to be 3 to the power of negative x. Why? Because this gives me the hint that this could be written as the square of the basic unit. And for here, I could actually strip off the other things to isolate the basic unit. So we have a quadratic. So now I have a handsome quadratic. So again, I let a to be this thing to get this, which gives star equals to these two numbers. So when we get here, now what? How do we bring the x back? By using log. Because log always brings the exponent down. Okay, exponent meaning the index. So for this part, I log both sides, negative x comes down, but log 10 is just 1. So x equals to negative 1 over log 3. And on this side, you do the same thing. Then you move the negative log 3 to the other side. But we cannot end here because we have to give answers correct to 3 sig fig. Okay, so we have to use calculator. And so we got these two answers for 3 sig fig.